Hello and welcome to Dingoes Ate My Podcast. This week we're discussing the episode of Angel entitled Reunion. I'm Paul,
And I'm Dave.
and this episode originally aired December 19th in the year 2000, attracting approximately 4.66 million viewers. So slightly down from the previous week, but not a noticeable amount, really.
For all the people that missed out on this when it premiered. It's ooh.
All right, Dave. So we have to talk about some video games before we get into the episode. So,
Indeed. Let's work on something that's coming out for Christmas of this year.
well, most of the games for Christmas have already come out, but we do get. Again, I normally don't do Japanese releases, but in this case, I'm going to do it because it is a big game. So, December 21st in Japan, if you had a Dreamcast, you could pick up a little game known as Phantasy Star Online.
Ooh. Super big fancy one.
Yes, I knew that was a big one, so I figured I should mention it. And also, on December 30th, so right after Christmas, I don't know why they didn't release this a few weeks earlier. If you had a Dreamcast in North America, you could pick up ECW Anarchy Rules. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know why
why
you'd
as
want to.
well. Hmm. Yeah.
It's bad. Like both of the ECW games are bad, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's understandable, but yeah, I figured why they couldn't manage to make it out from there, but I suppose if they did try to make it before Christmas, it probably would have been a heck of a lot worse.
Oh, oh, oh. I don't know if it could get much worse, Dave. This game was bad.
Duly noted, time was not the factor of its problems, I suppose.
Not even close. And we're going to just pop into early 2001 because there are a few games that come out before our next episode airs. So
Hmm.
on January 4th, if you were somebody who had a PC and you enjoyed MMORPGs, a little game came out called RuneScape.
Ooh.
Yes, which I'm sure nobody has ever played and nobody remembers. And it's
I'm
not
sure
like,
there's a crowd, but whether or not they're alive still is the question.
no, that game's still going.
No, it's understandable, but it's a case of I have never touched it.
I think I did once or twice for about 10 minutes and then quickly gave up because it just wasn't for me.
Understandable.
Now, also, on January 10th, and if you had an N64, you were, well, I would argue not in luck, but some people would disagree. A little game came out called Mega Man 64.
The start of the Legend series, despite the fact that they didn't use it for the N64 release.
I remember this game not being very good.
Yeah, no. With the basis of all the stuff that it sort of worked with, that and the fact that it was coming from the PlayStation, coming into the N64, and not exactly having too many changes to the control and whatnot they could do with it, yeah, it was a little questionable. But still, on the whole, it's one that I remember playing and have fond memories of,
Well,
despite the fact I could only make it in 3 levels before getting my butt whooped.
I mean, that's something, right? Alrighty.
Meh.
So, any idea what the number one movie in America was this week, Dave?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it's still stuck in with the Grinch stealing Christmas and whatnot.
It is not. It is not. So the one of the weeks when we were off, the Grinch was dethroned by a movie called What Women Want.
Hmm.
And this week, the number one movie in America is a little film called Castaway.
Oh, yes. Yes. Like, I vaguely can't remember if it's a case of I actually did see this movie or it's just I remember that one commercial they did for it.
I, I, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever actually seen the movie. I just know like the basics,
You know
like
it. You know it from the memes.
yeah, just from pop culture. Like I know about Wilson and stuff. Like I'm hip with the kids.
Oh God. Why is it that I could completely picture you with that particular role? I sadly can't remember the actor's name or what movie that comes from, but you just walking down a hallway and be like, "Hello, fellow children. What's up at hip today?"
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Where he has a music band T-shirt and like 4 skateboards. Yeah, I'm familiar. That's basically me. Anyway, number one song in America this week. Any guesses?
Hmm. Again, thinking of the one from next week, I can't particularly think of any other ones that might have topped it. Again, I'm not too knowledgeable with top music of around that time. Just to be safe, I suppose I'll stick with the Independent Woman from Destiny's Child from last week.
You would be correct.
Yeah,
That
Destiny's
would
Child.
be a very good choice. Yes, it is. I mean, people really like Destiny's Child in the year 2000, apparently.
Things.
Yes. So now let us move into the episode reunion.
Yes, with all the girl times.
Okay. All right. So Angel tells his associates that Drusilla has returned and, working with Wolfram Hart, has made Darla a vampire again. Wesley and Cordelia investigate the law firm's plans for Drusilla and Darla as Angel prepares to stake the two vampires. In an attempt to find Drusilla and Darla, Angel goes to Lindsay's apartment, who has been sheltering Drusilla. However, he's already moved. The property manager stops by and remarks that Lindsay's cousin, a sweet but very odd English girl, is visiting him and expecting a daughter, whom she wanted to be born near the stars. Gunn realizes that Drusilla has taken Darla, who is dead, until she wakes as a newly made vampire. She plans to basically plant a nursery. Angel locates Darla, who is wrapped in a shroud and shallowly buried in a raised box of dirt. He attempts to shake the unconscious Darla, but Drusilla attacks him. Darla revives as Angel and Drusilla struggle. She escapes and Drusilla disappears. At Wolfram and Hart, Holland and Lindsay are discussing the evening's planned party when Drusilla arrives to update them on current events. Darla appears and drags Drusilla off. As Angel races to the Wolfram and Hart offices, Cordelia has a vision which sends them elsewhere. Darla confronts Drusilla for making her a vampire. Drusilla admits that she is feeling very lonely and wanted to save Darla. After bloodsucking and killing a fresh victim, Darla has her old confidence restored and takes Drusilla shopping. While driving to find Drusilla and Darla, Cordelia has a vision which detours their mission. Angel briskly completes the mission from Cordelia's vision, then heads back towards Wolfram and Hart. Holland unleashes Darla and Drusilla on Los Angeles. They begin by raiding a clothing store for a new wardrobe, killing the two salespeople. Angel forces his way into Wolfram and Hart, demanding information. Lindsay refuses. Angel is arrested and taken into custody by Kate. She releases him, hoping he can stop Darla and Drusilla's killing spree. Holland hosts a wine tasting party for his colleagues in his home's wine cellar. As he makes a speech, Darla and Drusilla appear, intent on slaughter. Holland attempts to convince the two that heinous associates are their allies, but has little effect. Angel finds the survivor at the clothing store and learns where Darla and Drusilla have gone. When he arrives at Holland's home, however, he refuses to stop Darla and Drusilla, instead locking the wine cellar to prevent the lawyers from escaping the vampires. When Angel tells his associates what he has done, they object, fearing that Angel is descending into corruption and darkness. He then fires them and leaves.
Ugh.
Yes, so not a very eventful episode at all. You there, Dave?
Despite the fact that the sarcasm is not welcome, I completely welcome it.
Yeah, so a little bit happens in this episode. We've seen Angel slowly descending more into being more of a bastard.
But then, of course, Wolfram and Hart didn't exactly make it that hard of a choice.
I mean, this is a hard one. Because, like,
And of course, within most things in reality, it's usually the case.
Because, technically, some of the people in that seller, like, he legitimately does have an issue with, but there are also a lot of people that we've just never seen before, so we don't really know anything about them.
Yeah, there's a couple of innocents within there, but yeah, it's just ugh, ugh.
Yes, it
But
is.
on the other side of things, it was very fun to see the girls' night out.
Yes, with all their murder and slaughter.
Yes, and Drusilla with all of her fancy musings. And she got her baby. Yates for her. She got the grandma.
It's they those two on screen are always so much fun together.
It's so true.
Yeah, it's great stuff. It's great stuff. Alrighty, so for international titles, in French, unfortunately, it just translates as reunion. Boring.
Mm,
However, in German, it's a little bit better and it translates as the rebirth, which I feel like is a little bit better. Anyway, next week we will be discussing the episode entitled Redefinition. Okay. Okay. As Wesley, Cordelia, and Gunn reel from the shock of Angel firing them, they end up at Caritas, the demon karaoke bar. They talk to Lauren about their uncertainty, and tell a vision of Cordelia's leads them to a woman who has been abducted by a demon. Meanwhile, the deadly serious Angel reinvents himself as a cold-hearted, one-man weapon of mass destruction to find and take out Darla and Drusilla, who are recruiting demons for a rampage through the city. Meanwhile, Lindsay and Lila, the only survivors from Darla and Drusilla's office party massacre, fear for their lives and jockey for position against one another with the unseen senior partners of Wolfram and Hart. When the unseen senior partners of Wolfram and Hart request a meeting with them.
hmm.
So will we actually get to see the senior partners finally and find out who they are?
Oh boy.
I'm not saying that we will or won't, but we might.
There is the thought. Whether it comes to pass, we'll have to see.
Yes. So, Dave, did you have anything left to add at the last minute?
Ugh. It's just all the particular things. At the very least, the Wheatley Gunn and Cordelia at least have someone to turn to. Whether or not he's going to be a bit of a help, we'll have to see.
I mean, Lorne is pretty cool.
Indeed, but he kind of has a specific clientele. I'm not exactly sure how much he's really into humans coming in for help.
I mean, I feel like Lorne's pretty chill,
Yeah,
but we'll have to see. And it's gonna be interesting. So until next time, I'm Paul.
and I'm Dave.